I don't have millions, but I'm learning to think like someone who does. So, in this series, I will be talking about African companies that are actually scaling across the continent and are doing amazing things that you should be looking out for. So, instead of saying you should be investing in Africa, I should be telling you that you should be investing in these companies because that's how investors usually think. So, we are going to follow this format whereby we're going to introduce you into a thesis, an investment thesis, and show you how these companies are actually doing that and see the potential that you, as somebody who was interested in the continent, can actually benefit and what you can actually do. So imagine you run a bakery in Nairobi. You have 75 trucks. Every morning they leave the depot and drive across the city delivering bread. But nobody really knows if the route makes sense. Nobody knows if a truck should go left or right first. Nobody knows which truck should carry which orders. The drivers just go. The same way they went yesterday. At the end of the month, you look at your numbers and wonder why costs keep rising even as sales grow. African businesses pay up to four times the global average just to move goods. In some markets, logistics alone eats 75% of a product's final price. Not the product, not the profit, just the cost of moving it. And here's the thing, most of that cost is not unavoidable. It's not bad roads or long distances, it is coordination failure. Businesses have the trucks, they have the drivers, they have the customers, they have no system connecting all three intelligently. So the investment opportunity is the gap between how fast African commerce is growing and how inefficient the systems moving those goods still are. So this is exactly what Letta is building. Founded in 2022 by Nick Joshi, Letta is a logistics software company based in Kenya, not a tracking company, not a delivery app. It is software that plugs into the systems a business already uses, pulls live data on stock, vehicles, and customer locations, and build the most efficient dispatch plan automatically. So, do you remember that bakery we talked about earlier? That bakery is Kenafric Bakery. It's one of the largest bakeries in Kenya. So before Letta, their trucks were leaving the depot 40% empty. After Letta, they took six trucks off the road entirely and cut delivery costs by 20,000 every single month. But the detail that really tells you where this is going, Google Africa Investment Fund noticed that Letta's live delivery map, built purely from millions of real dispatches across Nairobi roads, was more accurate than Google Maps itself. So Google Maps had not updated the coverage since 2022. Letta's data was better because it came from trucks actually moving through those streets every day. That is why Google invested. In 2 years, Letta's revenue grew five times. So in March last year, 2025, Letta raised 5 million USD, led by Speed Invest, one of Europe's most active early stage investors, alongside Google and Equita VC. So the total funding was around 11.2 million. So here is why investors are paying attention to the long game. Every delivery Letta processes creates data. Which roads perform? And if you've lived in Nairobi, you really see how essential that is. So you know which intersections cause failures, which routes save the most fuel, which customers need restocking, and at what frequency. That data is worth more than the software subscription. It becomes an embedded finance layer sitting on top of a logistics network that already has the trust of every major FMCG brand operating in East Africa. So we know more deliveries create better data. Better data improves routing. Better routing attracts more customers, and more customers make the network stronger. That compounding loop is what investors are buying. So the key takeaway here is to really understand the investment thesis. So Letta started by solving a coordination problem for bakeries, but then it grew into something much bigger, the operating system for African logistics. And the investors who understood the thesis really did not ask, what does Letta do? They asked, What happens to every business that moves goods across Africa as trade keeps growing? So then they found that company that is building for that answer. So that is how you should think like an investor. And this is me learning that in real time.